Dragon's teeth of square-pyramidal fortifications of reinforced concrete, first used during the Second World War to impede the movement of tanks and mechanized infantry. The idea was to slow down and channel tanks into killing zones where they could easily be disposed of by anti-tank weapons. They were employed extensively, particularly on the Siegfried line. In practice, the use of combat engineers and specialist clearance vehicles enabled them to be disposed of relatively quickly, and they proved far less of an obstacle than many had expected. The obstacles could also simply be buried using bulldozers and dump trucks. World War II. Dragon's teeth were used by several armies in the European theater. The Germans made extensive use of them in the Siegfried Line and the Atlantic Wall. Typically, each tooth was 90 to 120 centimeters tall, depending on the precise model. Landmines were often laid between the individual teeth, and further obstacles constructed along the lines of teeth. The French army employed them in the Maginot Line, while many were laid in the United Kingdom in 1941 as part of the effort to strengthen the country's defences against a possible German invasion. Behind minefields were the dragon's teeth. They rested on a concrete mat between 10 and 30 meters wide, sunk in a meter or two into the ground. On top of the mat were the teeth themselves, truncated pyramids of reinforced concrete about a meter in height in the front row, to 2 meters high in the back. They were staggered and spaced in such a manner that a tank could not drive through. Interspersed among the teeth were minefields, barbed wire, and pillboxes that were virtually impregnable by the artillery and set in such a way as to give the Germans crossing fire across the entire front. The only way to take those pillboxes was for infantry to get behind them and attack the rear entry. But behind the first row of pillboxes and dragon's teeth, there was a second, and often a third, and sometimes a fourth. Due to the huge numbers laid and the durable construction, many thousands of dragon's teeth can still be seen today, especially in the remains of the Siegfried and Maginot lines. Post-World War II, Switzerland continues to maintain lines of dragon's teeth in certain strategic areas. In the military jargon, these constructions are often referred to as Toblerone lines, after the chocolate bar. Dragon's teeth are also present in some areas along the Korean demilitarized zone borderline and were also used on the eastern side of the Berlin Wall. The term has survived into the present day and now also can be used to describe any line of posts or pegs set into the ground to deter vehicle access, for example in rural car parking areas or alongside roads. Bollard is another term for such a post. Some countries, such as those formed after the breakup of Yugoslavia, have movable teeth positioned at roadsides at strategic locations, which are to be lifted and placed on the roads. Some stages of Rallye Deutschland, the German round of the WRC Rally Championship, are run on roads belonging to the military training ground at Baumholder. The roads are lined with dragon's teeth, known as Hinkelsteins. They usually serve as obstacles to prevent tanks to leave the roads, and cause devastation to any rally car which veers off track.